welcome to another episode of Main Game, the show that talks about all things video games and esports. I'm your host Aoife, and I bet my co-host knows what time is it.
That's right, Aoife, it's game time. 'Tis I, Lewis Kakuchopurei's very own esports enthusiast, here to talk about what's on tap for this week. We're taking a look at some new perspectives behind the wide world of esports, particularly on the human side of things.
Without further ado, here's our first segment of the day, which is Slowdown. Before we start, let's talk about the players of eSport. What does it take to be a high-level player in competitive gaming? Maybe we can use a game you like as a reference point, which is Call of Duty?
Well, most obvious thing is having good aim is one thing, but it's also the easiest to improve. That goes for really any game, any FPS game, not just Call of Duty. Ask anyone who competes and they'll tell you that having good aim is the easiest part because being at the top level. Because everyone at the top level can shoot straight. Other aspects include things like map awareness, being able to tell what's going on just at the glance of a mini-map. From just a glance at the mini-map in Call of Duty, you should be able to tell where the enemy team is spawning based on where your teammates are positioned.
Is there any, difference for female players?
No, not exactly. There's been multiple occasions where girls have competed at the highest level. Take League of Legends, for example. Ramilia helped Renegades qualify for the LCS back in 2015 and competed in the 2016 Spring LCS split. She's living proof that girls can make it at the highest level. And that's just, to be fair though, that's just one woman on a team of 4 men. In recent years, we've seen efforts to counteract that by dedicated league sprouting like Valorant's Game Changers.
Well, I do know that competitive video game scene is evolving. More female esports players are coming into the fold with each generation. We managed to talk with one of Malaysia's top female players about what it's like in the multiplayer online battle arena space, MOBAs. Check it out.
Being a high-level esports player is challenging. You wake up, you train for hours on a game you're good at, get some physical exercise in while you're at it for mental clarity. Then you play through the tournament and repeat the cycle as long as you place high enough. If you put your heart into it, this could be you, whether you're a boy or a girl. The Mobile Legends scene in Malaysia is arguably the biggest right now it has ever been in the Southeast Asia region. With a new ongoing season, this means fresh new faces and teams continuing on the path to success filled with a lot of hard work. Whether you're a male or female, it's not an easy road, but at the very least, women are participating more and more in esports, especially in this MOBA circuit. We briefly chatted with Aria, a renowned esports competitor who represents Team Huck, and shares her experiences with us. She represented Malaysia at the 2023 SEA Games, with her team winning 3rd place in the MLBB women's category.
I started playing esports just for fun, and after playing for fun, I started to masuk tournament kecil-kecil, and it started off with FSL. It's an international tournament from Singapore. And after that tournament, I start masuk tournament kat Malaysia. Ada tournament perempuan nama dia Konistra. And after that, dia orang slowly ada tournament perempuan dekat Malaysia like kecil-kecil punya. And then dia pergi dekat MWI and then sampailah ke SEA Games. I think the best achievement I've achieved so far is the bronze medalist for SEA Games 2023 and MWI top 3 for season 1.
She also told us how Mobile Legends opened up new opportunities for her on both a national and international scale.
For national, I think that dulu ada MPL, but it's for MY and SG. But now it's only Malaysian punya MPL. And kalau perempuan pula, kita nampak yang ada tournament like Ivory, Unipin, and upcoming ni nanti dia ada lagi Ivory, which is untuk support tournament perempuan for Malaysia. And for international, kita boleh nampak dulu hanya ada hanya ada tournament untuk Southeast Asia only. Tapi sekarang dia start ada untuk negara luar juga yang outside of Asia, which is Turkey, North America, and so on.
She also told us how she felt representing women esports players and a country, and the after effects that followed.
Not gonna lie, it's the best experience I've ever had, and I rasa macam I bangga bila dapat jadi wakil Malaysia ni sebab I dapat this is the first tournament yang I jadi wakil Malaysia, and then I also dapat bawa balik medal which is the bronze medal, and I rasa macam I dah set standard yang tinggi untuk esports perempuan untuk bangkit lagi untuk bawa medal untuk next SEA Games. Macam ada orang akan cakap buruk pasal kami, dia orang akan kata yang kami ni joki. Joki is a term that use yang another person pilot kita punya account. So bila diorang cakap macam tu, actually kadang-kadang terasa lah. Tapi macam kalau kita look at the bright side, kata oh kiranya kita power lah sampai orang cakap macam tu. So actually memang kecaman tu akan ada. Macam orang kata tak payah main game ni, baik pergi dapur, tu semua belajar je lah. Tapi sokongan-sokongan daripada family dan kawan-kawan tu lah yang actually membagi kami semangat untuk keep on going. I rasa what motivates me is my friends. So my friends ni bila main dengan diorang tak pernah rasa macam nak marah tau bila main ni. So macam dia automatic bila main game ni dia akan jadi happy. And bila happy mestilah kita rasa nak menang. So bila rasa nak menang tu, dia dah jadi untuk pembakar semangat saya untuk menang every tournament yang saya masuk. And kalau ada kalah pun, saya akan tengok at the bright side, which is saya akan jadikan kekalahan tu sebagai satu semangat saya train jadi lebih baik and untuk come back stronger dekat next game.
To cap off this feel-good moment, here is some advice from Aria for all aspiring female esports players everywhere.
So untuk all the girls around Malaysia, I harap korang semua akan sentiasa berusaha untuk jadi lebih bagus, and korang jangan pernah give up untuk try dan mengalah, sebab everything yang kalau start daripada kalah tu it's normal, it's memang the beginning. So kalau korang sentiasa bersabar, korang akan sentiasa trust the process, everything akan jadi ke sampai korang jadi pro player.
That was quite a talk from Aria, top Mobile Legends player representing female players everywhere. So, Louise, do you personally believe that women have it harder than men in the competitive space?
I think that women are very commonly overlooked when it comes to esports, and because of that, they don't have as many opportunities, unfortunately.
Aria mentioned about, trusting the process, but I do feel that it's game specific. What works for Mobile Legends may not necessarily work for other esports titles and their respective scenes. So, what do you think, Louise?
Trusting the process is something not everyone can do, and it's a lot easier to see in solo games like fighting games like Tekken or Street Fighter rather than team-based games like Mobile Legends or Valorant.
Interesting, especially that bit about fighting games. Sounds like, you're teasing something in the near future for a main game?
Indeed I am.
Okay, so while we let our audience speculate, we'll be taking a quick break and we'll be right back after these commercials. The International League of Legends World's Evolution Championship Tournament. What do these major esports tournaments have in common? They take a lot of hard work and planning to pull off. Here's a deep dive on what makes an esport event work, as well as some news about the Mobile Legends esports scene in Malaysia.
No doubt you've seen many esports competitions being run all across the world, be it online
We find just that one perfect moment to pounce.
or offline.
To Ban Anna.
But have you ever thought about what goes behind the scenes of these tournaments? Let's check out one example, the Mobile Legends M4 Tournament, a series of competitive events by Moonton that gathers the best MLBB players to compete against one another. Behind the spectacle and display, it's a painstaking process of preparation and logistics. What actually goes behind the scenes? We asked Moonton Head of Public Relations, Kelly Chew, to find out.
So there's this very viral sort of like banner, what makes, an esports league, or rather like, it basically goes into detail of like, there's like a professional player at the top, and then behind the professional player, there's like, social media manager, marketing manager, public relations, production, logistics, broadcast manager, etc., etc. Like there is so many components that goes into making the magic at an esports tournament that not many people realize, and they are actually, I would say, the magicians behind all of the magic that you see during an esports tournament. Not a lot of people knows how much hours, how much grueling work actually goes into the operations of it. An organizer really needs is one, obviously, production and broadcast that can help to bring out, say for example, like certain special effects, or certain like I would say styles, or bring out like the message of what do they want to deliver to the viewers in broadcasting, and also in that visual as well. What do they want to bring out? What's the message that they want to deliver, apart from this is just an esports tournament? It's so much more than that. The second would be logistics. A lot of people, to be honest, like overlook logistics as something that's quite mundane, very boring, but to be honest, it is like one of the most important stakeholders that brings everything together. Like you really need logistics to help you run like an esports tournament. The hotels, like the visa that I mentioned as well, travel, bringing together like different, I would say like different people from different nations, etc. Like all of that together combined with hospitality, you really need those people to help run a successful esports tournament. The third would, I would say, like be marketing. How you market your tournament is also very important as well, because as we all know, there can be many esports tournaments held now these days, be it whether or not is it online or offline. But how you position yourself, how you brand yourself, how you market your esports tournament, how is it more distinctive, from other esports tournaments? How is it, say for instance, like award winning? What makes it different, and what makes it, what actually makes it, exciting as well? I think that is qualities that I would say many people look for, especially in the marketers.
We also inquired about Moonton's plans for the Malaysia region for the tail end of 2023 and 2024.
I'm really very excited because M5 Wildcard will be hosted in Malaysia for the very first time. So this is like, I would say, a new format that we have been working on for quite a long time as well. We are excited to have many of the regions come to Malaysia to compete and to also host it offline as well. This, I would say, will be quite exciting, especially for the young and passionate Malaysian esports fans. And it will also give them a little bit of a thrill as well, because there'll be quite some, I would say, offline activations that we will be working on in Malaysia for this event in particular as well. Beyond that, we want to explore, I would say, other tourism initiatives, or other esports educational initiatives, such as nurturing the young esports generation of players, gamers. We want to work very closely with universities, with students, to nurture them, to try and make all of this happen with their help. We believe in nurturing the next generation of players and also talent as well, because that is very important to help bring the ecosystem to life, help the ecosystem become a lot more sustainable as well. And we hope to build more pathways as well for these young individuals, or even mid-career professionals, even for them to have a much more sustainable career path.
And that was quite a dive into the world of organizing eSport events for the masses. So Louise, what are your favorite offline events?
There are just so many. Any Games World Championship will be something to behold, but I feel like that's a bit of a cop-out. I think that Beyond the Summit was some of my favourite tournaments to watch because it's not your typical esports event. It was based out of a house in California where forecasters would just sit on the couch and casually talk about the game that was playing at the time. Nothing too professional, and I think that's kind of why I enjoyed it so much, because of its chilled and relaxed atmosphere, and it was just a new way to experience watching esports. But unfortunately, Beyond the Summit is no longer with us as they defunct relatively recently.
Aw, that's a shame. I'm sure we can still find some VODs of the tournament online, but tell us more about the esports events that you've covered before.
I've covered quite a fair few in recent years. The events that I've covered have predominantly been Valorant tournaments. The recent Masters held in Tokyo was absolutely phenomenal because of the many different storylines that developed over the past year. And that's the key word, storylines. That's what makes esports so fun to watch. Rivalries between players and organizations, the trash talk which ensues, all of it is what makes esports so great. But I'd like to say that one of my favorite events that I've attended was Season 10 MPL Malaysia Grand Finals. The stage design was incredible to see, and the energy in the crowd from the fan clubs was ecstatic. Photos and videos could never do the event justice.
I can imagine that attending event must be, tiring in their own rights, and as much fun as they can be, I'm sure everyone involved, from crew to fans, would be in need of some dire rest by the end of it. Speaking of rest, let's cut to a commercial break before we talk more esports. We'll be right back. With all this talk about esports, we can't leave you hanging. I'm very sure you want to see some high-level plays to add to that little part of your brain that stores a lot of trivia, right? So, for Louise, do you have any random trivia that you would like to share with us?
I mean, let's talk about prize pools. There's just so much when it comes to esports. Prize pools are what make esports events so magnificently big. But let's talk about record-breaking prize pools. The biggest one to date is the Saudi Arabian League, which is called Gamers 8, which has about 45 million US dollars. But to be fair, that's spread across 12 games. The biggest individual tournament to hold the largest prize pool was actually 2021's the Dota 2's The International, which had a whopping 40 million US dollars up for grabs. So that's quite a lot of money, and there's just so much money in esports. It's incredible. But that's your little tidbit of trivia.
Oh, sounds pretty awesome. So here is your weekly dose of the top plays in competitive gaming history.
What's up, esports fans? It's now part 2 of the main game esports highlight reel, where we share with you the best plays in competitive gaming throughout the years. First up, Overwatch. The Overwatch League has created a slew of high-level first-person shooter players from all around the world, with the best ones being from South Korea, like New York's Excelsior's top support player, Jonak. I am on fire. It does help that the hero he picked, Zenyatta, can dish it out as long as he's way in the rear. Also, this play in Overwatch League 2021, it's also worth mentioning.
The doorway, okay. No one expects. What is the plan here? It's going to be a flash. Oh my god!
Strike is cheeky. God, his spidey senses were tingling. He just drops down and apprehends these ne'er-do-wells.
San Francisco Shock made a surprise assault from above using a wombo combo of Mace, Ice Wall, and Cassidy's Flashbang, stunning the charging opposition who were at the mercy of a massive Earthshaker, eliminating them. Next, we have a League of Legends top play courtesy of Team Fnatic when they were fighting SK Gaming in the Intel Extreme Masters Season 7 Katowice in 2013.
In the base, Peke's trying to take the Nexus down. Is anyone going to be able to deal with this one? Catches him with another
The whole game was over the 15-minute mark and was in SK Gaming's favor. However, Fnatic player Xpac tried a Hail Mary play via sneak attack using Kassadin. It worked! This backdoor tactic secured the win for Fnatic. While the team only secured bronze position, this backdoor play was the biggest highlight for the entire tournament. Fnatic was a team not to be trifled with. Last but not least, here's a top play in Hearthstone that helped put female esports players on the map, more so than usual, courtesy of Xiaoming Li, aka VK Lion.
Lion looks up in expectation, just waiting for this turn to pass to her, and it does! 17 damage in play!
Her high-level play made her the first female winner at BlizzCon 2019 in Hearthstone Grandmasters. Not only that, her congratulations speech was incredibly inspirational for female esports players everywhere, new and old.
梦想想赢，那么就不要在意其他任何的声音，你一定可以的。
Despite Hearthstone not being played as much competitively due to things, this 2019 win and speech-focused play is for the history books. And that's it for our top plays in esports history. We'll be returning with more of these in future episodes, so stay tuned.
Now that's some great highlights right there, courtesy of our voiceman Jonathan. I kind of thought he would, pick more fighting game clips this time around. I heard he's a fan of the genre.
Something tells me he's got something cooked up for future episodes. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. But for now, I do appreciate the League of Legends, Overwatch and Hearthstone picks. I'd love to see more, to be honest.
Among those 3 games, which one's your favorite and why?
I would have to say Overwatch, maybe because of my love for shooting games, but I've played Overwatch since 2017, and throughout those years, I've developed a love for the complex strategy of the game. Having to counterpick against certain heroes, like a defensive move in chess, there's just something so satisfactory about making an opponent switch heroes because of you.
I also like to, bring up that Hearthstone clip with the 2019 winner, Lion.
Well, Lion became the first woman to win a major Hearthstone tournament, which was monumental for women in esports. I'm sure her win inspired many women across the globe to pursue esports or even gaming as a career. However, I do feel that these kinds of wins for female competitors in Malaysia and Southeast Asia are pretty rare. I do hope that changes sometime soon.
I hope so too, for all of our sakes, at least with hardworking esport players and organizers like Aria and Kelly, the future looks promising. And with that, we've come to the end of the show. I'm your host, Aoife.
And I'm Lewis from Kakuchopurei.
And thank you so much for watching this competitive gaming focused episode of Main Game. And remember the golden rule of esports, everyone. Play hard, play fair. Goodbye.
Nice.